I'm on a mission to find myself. Lately I'm off it, coughing. These meds I take gon' put me in a coffin. More often than not, I'm distraught, all alone in my room with the lights out. Even when it's nice out, I'm lazy. Really wish you see me on the daily. Lately I've been feeling crazy, baby. I don't wanna talk. I can tell she faking. She only hit me at 1 o'clock. My brain she's staying like sidewalk chalk. Everywhere I look, all I see are chemicals. Think she got me hooked. I feel it in my genitals. Read me like a book and play me like a cassette tape. Why wait when you and me? Pigs fly great by day. Better get here by the by day. Irate the way that I be feeling. I've been irate. Why wait? Lately I've been feeling crazy. I'm not that much to see, so why everybody tryna look at me? Oh, it's getting hard to breathe, so I'ma take a minute and focus on me. This is a solo, wish it was a duo. Lingo, bingo, way that I be falling down, plinko. I just put a sock on my mic, that's a spit fill. When I'm still up in the night, that's when I spit real. Walking around my town and I can't help but look. I see you all around, every time it got me shook. When you walk by, I was too high, couldn't say hi. Now you moving to the next guy, I'm on the next high. Everywhere I look, all I see are chemicals. Think she got me hooked, I feel it in my genitals. Read me like a book and play me like a cassette tape. Why wait when you and me? Pigs fly great by day. Better get here by the by day. Irate the way that I've been feeling, I've been irate. Why wait? Lately, I've been feeling crazy. Lately, I'm depressed. Lately, not my best. Lately, I've been thinking about the feeling of a breast. Lately, in my feels, I've been popping pills. Mama's getting worried. Lately, I'm still cracking seals. I've been feeling low. Lately, I don't know. Lately, not myself, I'm someone else when off the blow. Mama said to work, so I put work in. I'ma keep on pushing till I'm 10 feet in the dirt. And seeing me, but no one wanna be me. I don't blame them, I don't wanna be me either. See me, but no one wanna be me. I don't blame them, I don't wanna be I'm on a mission to find myself. Lately I'm off it, coughing. These meds I take gon' put me in a coffin. More often than not, I'm distraught, all alone in my room with the lights out. Even when it's nice out, I'm lazy. Really wish you see me on the daily. Lately I've been feeling crazy, baby. I don't wanna talk. I can tell she faking. She only hit me at 1 o'clock. My brain she's staying like
the same when the time comes.
Yeah, this is the bit where I'm meant to speak. Well, yes, hello everyone.
Smooth, very smooth.
This is very smooth. I know. Yeah, obviously same as every week, but yeah, gonna get RSC streams back now that ERS is finished, concluded. Panthera won Mass. I'll be honest. And Green Phoenix won Charlie. There you go. See, that shows my memory right there. Top tier. And well, I'm going to hope that the rest of the results that were shown in week 5 were as top tier as that.
Yeah, and talking about top tier, you said it. Let's see what happened in week 5. Let's move into the recap and the standings and everything for all the tiers. Starting at the bottom, as always, starting in Prospect. Glacies, Ignis, Pegasus going first to you for the Glacies conference.
And, well, hope you enjoy these decisive results, because there wasn't many in Glacies. All 10 having a winner and a loser, and there were also 3 double loss weeks coming from Pawns and Cole with 2C, and still no win from Craftsman, who, spoiler alert, still sit at the bottom of the table. Yes, I think I've heard the half of, I have not pronounced the name right. It's going to happen again, but it's a battle at the bottom, won by Tomfoolery against Craftsman. That was one of the games we highlighted last week. But with the 3 double losses, there are also 3 double wins to match coming from Naja, Palmist, and Newborn. And that includes for Newborn. And for Palmist, that includes a win against topside Apparel. Genzai also had a very back and forth week. They got 1 sweep, and then they got swept in the next. So lots of action happening in Prospect Glacies.
Yeah, a lot of action. Like I said, no draws there, only decisive results. And now a quick look at the Ignis side, also decisive results. Kingsman, what can you tell me?
Yeah, Prospect, I don't know how long it's been, but there were no draws in all 20 matches played this week in Prospect, which is remarkable, to be honest. You don't see that very often, and sides that were on the better of them, Basilisks, 8-0, a week for them to keep pushing on. It's a huge week for them, and well, some sides even going 7-1 here, but massive week for Basilisks here. And one team that didn't get a sweep, there were 7 sweeps, was Mosaic, who won both their games, but neither of them being a 4-0, just not being able to close out all 4 games, but a 6-2 week is really good. But one team I did have to pick on that did not so well this week is going to be Caro, 0-8, and well, I said they need to pick it up alongside Cardinals, who also went 0-8, but apart from that, it's what's going to glue them to the bottom.
Yeah, 2 teams going 0-8, I think 2 teams as well going 8-0. A lot of big results here. Let's move to the standings. Let's see how everything shifted. Pegasus going first to you for the Glacies conference.
And we see Terra, they only got 1 loss. The problem is, Palmist got 2 wins, so they overtake and storm their way up the table. We also see Newborn dropping a few points, and Propel getting on top of Genzai and Pawns, and not too much action at the bottom. But I think it is a theme with Glacies, and maybe the reason why we don't get so many decisive results. It's still pretty packed and close in the middle. Nothing is really for sure except for Naja with their 3-point cushion, and Palmists with their, I believe that is 5 in between them and Terra now. So I think watching 3rd to 8th is going to be very interesting leading into week number 6.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's going to be very interesting is your counting skills, because 28 minus 23 is indeed 5. But now, going to Ignis, Kingsman, what about the standings?
No.
Well, big week for teams like Obscurity, who find themselves top of the table alongside Alta. Massive week for those 2, but Mosaic, a double win week for Mosaic, as the other 2 find losses in the top. We'll put them within 2. Tartarus, they also find a loss, and they find themselves in 4th. But down in 5th on 23 is going to be Taisha. I'm seeing a win-loss theme going on here. And Livens, I'm still trying to figure out what is going on with this Livens draw. I think they ended up going 0-8. I have no idea. Mox is just not explaining it to me. He's just waffling in my face. So honestly, I don't know.
I can explain.
I don't know if Livens are sixth. After this, I'll let Tavish explain. But Basilisks 8-0, massive week as they find themselves 7th on 19. Jabatus, they find a win, but it's only enough with 14 wins. Double loss for Caro, 6th on 11, and no better for Cardinals, who are still to find their first win. And well, Tavish, please just take it away with this Livens situation.
Well, first of all, it's Livens, but close enough. So basically, what happened? They went 0-8. They lost all their matches. That's just the pure reality. But Cardinals didn't report the score, so then they were too late, and then something happened. That's game admin stuff. I don't go over that. And then we went 4-4. Hey!
Huge.
So yeah, that's also one way to get your win. Hopefully Challenger can do the same. But now going to the fixtures, Pixis, going to you first for the Glacies conference. What matchups did you pick?
Well, we've got current second place versus current third place. It is Terra versus Palmas. Palmas gave themselves a bit of a cushion in week number 5, but this gives Terra a chance to crawl themselves back after only one loss that proved so costly. Along with that, we've got Newborn, who have got quite an interesting week, having to face both Propel and Gensai, which are the two teams below them in those last two spots. So they can either gain some distance or risk being overtaken in this very close conference. And also, another battle at the bottom this week. We have got Tomfoolery versus Anko.
Alright, so some very good matchups there. Hopefully we can get some of these on stream. Because like I said, 2 weeks without proper RSC streams. Now it's time to get all these matchups going. But Kingsman, talking about Ignis Conference, what matchups did you pick?
Well, it's a big week for Serene Taisho in 5th place. They play Basilisks, who are coming off an 8-0 week. A huge week for momentum for them, and they'll be looking to continue that on and find their way into the top 6. They also have Livens, there you go, in 6th place,
nice.
who are on 5-5. 5 wins, 5 losses. 5th versus 6th. It's a massive week for Taisho. 2 wins here would push them towards the top 3 in a way and give them a bit of comfort towards the top 6. And also, I don't think it gets any tougher for some of the bottom teams this week, as Caro, they got to go 0-8, but they have first place Obscurity this week. But for surely both teams that went bottom go 0-8 can't go 0-8 again, as Caro play Cardinals in the bottom what has to be a bottom table fight for both sides. Both sides will be looking for a win, and well, it's a huge game because if Caro beat Cardinals, I don't think they're going to move off of 10th this season.
Yeah, but you also have the opportunity that they're just going to draw against each other and then they're just stuck where they are. But that's all to be determined in their matchup this week. And that is it for Prospect. Now, moving on 1 tier up, we're going straight into Challenger, starting again with the Glacies Conference. And Pegasus is going to give this one to you.
Well, first of all, we've got 4 out of 10 games resulting in a draw. And we also see Bishop's first result that isn't a win. Mischief managed to secure themselves a draw against this number 1 side that have got themselves quite a distance on the table, as you will see later. And Apprentices attempting a comeback after a loss and draw week. They get 2 wins, which includes a sweep against Gelvier. And Oracles, fair play to them, still sitting in last place as a spoiler, but they do get their first win and another draw to add to the record. And one of those wins being against Cascabel.
Ooh. So, sad that you already spoiled one thing of the standings, but some very interesting results there. Now, Kingsman, going to you for the Ignis Conference.
Well, we find 3 draws in this conference, and one side that is just getting the better of them so far is Eclipse. They find themselves going 6-2 this week, along with Pardus. A win and draw week for both those sides. Both sides will be very happy with that, and no team in this conference went double win this week, which is very interesting. But one team that picked up their first loss this season would be Serene Yamato, who got swept by Kapakli. Massive result for Kapakli, who were looking to chase top 2. I hear aside from Pegasus, it's clearly not a good day for him. He might have played, probably.
I did.
But I guess we'll never know. Yeah, he did. But poor guy. I don't want to say much more. But a side that hasn't done so well this week for their fortunes is Masai. 1-7, getting swept by Pardus, and 3-1 by Crusaders. But overall, not looking good for the sides near the bottom, as the top teams seem to be getting the results they need.
Yeah, and with that, a lot of results happening. And definitely, like you said, Kingsman, top teams getting the results, bottom teams definitely not. Standings will be affected. And now, first going to you, Pegasus. What can you tell me about the Glacies standings?
Well, apprentices are awarded with their double win, now having a 7-game win cushion against Galvier and Feather, who are currently equal at the moment in that department. Cascabel and Neptunium, it just simply wasn't good enough for them this week, especially with that Cascabel loss against Oracles. Gets them punished and lower on the table, and a little bit of movement now with Impulse and Mischief switching places. But from 6th to 10th, it's a fight for that final play-in spot, and 5th to 3rd, so much left on the table with 3 teams on equal wins.
So Bishop's still at the top, Princess slowly moving in, and the rest, like I said, pretty close to there. There's a lot of things that can change. But now going to the Ignis standings, and Kingsman, with all those big results, what changed?
Oh, in Shrine's case, they take top of the table. Massive win-draw week for them as they go level with Yamato. But Yamato being swept is a huge impact on them, and it moves them down to second. Kapakli picking up that sweep will be tied in 3rd and 4th place for 24 wins. And Pardus will be on 23 and 5th. It's looking like a massive dogfight in that top 5. Only a series separating all of them, which shows how massive that sweep for Kapakli was onto Yamato. But Crusaders then in 6th place on 20 wins. They aren't going to have a cushion, those Komodos and Masai behind. Masai having a week to forget, remember, 1-7. And it leaves them 2 games off the top 6. Orcus, they are down in 9th on 14, finding their 3rd draw of the season. Not enough to move them anywhere near the top 6. And I said to Tavish at the start, he said, well, our season's pretty much over. And I said to him, what do you mean? You're only 4 series behind. It's going to be Canaan's in 10th place on 4 wins all season. I think picking up now the worst record in RSC this season.
Yeah, that really lifts my spirit, being here on RSCast together with you, to hear you say that. But let's take a look at the fixtures for the coming week. First, going to you, Pegasus, for the Glacies Conference.
Yeah, thank you, Kingsman, for bringing the other 2 hosts down. But let's focus on Bishop. I mean, they dropped their first bit of points, and some things that this doesn't show you is, I believe, Week 4's Team of the Week player, Sam Dusk, has unfortunately left the roster and will be replaced with... And has been replaced by Borsvel. So his first test for him will be against Neptunium. I believe that is on Wednesday, and also against Kyomi a lot later in the week. But Cascabel, obviously with their draw and loss, will be looking to get back some ground. Mischief and Neptunium, however, are going to be 2 very hard games for them. I expect a lot of movement towards the end of week 6 on the table, and just like the rest of the Glacies roster, I can't wait to see how this switches up.
Yeah, so again, a lot of big matchups happening. But now, Kingsman, going to you. What can you tell me about the Ignis matchups?
No, I actually feel bad now. I actually feel bad for Sam. I shouldn't have done that. That's on me, Sam. Much love. You were a legend to the roster, and I'm sure in your next adventure in a tier up that you'll do far better and push them into a first place spot. Much love. Anyway, moving on from mine and Sam's little whatever that was. Games next week. Yamato, they did get swept this week, but they have an even bigger match on their hands. They play Eclipse in 4th place. A win-draw week, one of the better in the conference, and Yamato really need to bounce back. They could get that in Canaan's, but Tavish is looking to take games off teams, so Challenger Ignis, beware, is all I'm going to say. Beware, Canaan's are going to be on the charge soon enough. I am convinced of it. But another big game near the top is going to be Shrine Kapakli tomorrow on the 31st. Kapakli taken down Serene Yamato 4-0 last week, and they're going to look to do the same. A sweep would put them above Shrine, and it's a massive game all round. Also, another massive game is going to be Pardus versus Komodos. Komodos 7th, Pardus 5th. A sweep for Komodos, or a good result, will put them in that top 5 dogfight and drag Pardus away from it.
Yeah, so a lot of good opportunities for teams to move up here in the standings, all based on week 6, how it's gonna play out. But that's basically always the case. You never know what's gonna happen. You're a top team and you can win, or you're a top team and you can lose against the bottom team. But that is enough for Challenger. Let's move on to Rival. Pegasus, going straight to you for the Glacis results of week 5.
Well, it was another week of draws with 5 out of 10 results being them. However, of our 5 wins, 3 of them were sweeps. Unfortunately for Python, the only team that had 2 decisive results go against them was 2 sweeps. So, one of the worst weeks I have seen here on the RSCast. I hope that they can recover in week 6. One of those sweeps was against current bottom place Montbelliard, and also missed it.
So a lot of results, couple draws here actually, or a couple, I'll say most of them are. And like I said, Montbelliard getting maybe a good week here, but now Kingsman, going to you for the Ignis results.
Well, Nightfall decided it was their time. 8-0 week for Nightfall. They get a 4-0 onto Yoruba. A huge result for them there. And then they get a 4-0 onto Caligo, who were high flyers with their roster change last week. But they get absolutely humbled by Nightfall this week. Huge week for them. And also, ladies and gentlemen, the team in Rival I've roasted for the past 4 weeks have gone double win. Yes, I know. Sanctum have gone 7-1. This is not a drill. They have 4-0'd Sentinels in a massive, massive bottom of the table derby. And then they've 3-1 Tizok, who were mid-table, to pull off an absolute shock result. And they're looking to push themselves forward, being only one of 3 teams to go double win this week. And considering last week they only had 6 wins on the board, they've doubled that in just 1 week. Massive week for Sanctum.
Yeah, so with you hyping up Sanctum to that, we're gonna go to the standings, because now I want to see how Sanctum moved up in that standings. But first, Pegasus, what can you tell me about the Glacis standings?
Well, Mirage, punished for a double draw week, leads to Knights catching up to them and getting ahead just by that goal difference. But every week I say this, and it's just so true with this tier especially. Just look how close it is. First, second and third, only 1 win between them. Fourth, all the way down to arguably 10th. Who knows what movements can happen. And with some of the results next week, I can assure you there will be a bit of a widening. And I think some gaps will finally be created in this tier and in this conference.
So now it's all to wait for the fixtures for week 6 to see what interesting matchups we will be seeing in the Glacis conference. But now, Kingsman, you already talked about Sanctum. I'm going to let you take it away for the Ignis conference.
Well, Sinksy, I see you in chat saying avoided the 8-0. It was my point going into the standings, thank you very much. As I was going to say, Onka and Nightfall, 8-0 weeks. And Onka, after a mislip last week, they find themselves 5 games ahead. An 8-0 week is huge, and it also shows as Nightfall leapfrog Meiji, who had a double loss week, finding both their first losses this season. Ridiculous scenes in the top tables. Hydras on 23, also double loss, and it gives Onka a 8-game gap to Hydras. That shows the difference between a very good week and a very bad week. Erebos win and draw. It leaves them sat in the middle, 20 wins, and Tizok finding that loss to forget as they are on 18 wins. Caligo, though, tied on 18, looking to be a bit of a contender for the top 6 here. Yoruba, though, 15 wins. I'm pretty sure it was an FF that game they lost. And Sanctum, this is why I hyped it so much. 7 wins they had in week 5 alone. Weeks 1 through 4, they had 6. That is what I'm seeing. There's going to be a change in this team, and I hope in it. If Sanctum can do it, then surely Canaans can do it, Tavish. I believe in you. And then Sentinels are 10th on 11. That loss to Sanctum will keep them right at the bottom. But Sanctum, I trust in you. Please don't go double loss next week after me saying all this.
Yeah, so a little bit of pressure on Sanctum now that Kingsman probably cursed you. But going into the fixtures, Pegasus, what can you tell me for the Glacies conference?
Well, my favourite fixtures are when the 2 teams playing each other are right next to each other on the table. And we've got that at the top, middle and bottom. At the top we have Journeyman versus Mystics. Towards the middle we got Uranum versus Ash. And then right at the bottom, a lovely bottom 2 showdown again. It is Tombow versus Montbelliard. And now Knights, they were sitting on equal game wins as second place Mirage. It's looking to be quite an easy week for them if we're looking at the standings. I believe they play Tombow and Python.
So a lot of interesting matchups like always, but basically everything at this point can be an interesting matchup. But like I said, top, middle and bottom all really having some good matchups. Now going to you, Kingsman, what can you tell me about the Ignis matchups?
Well, I said Sanctum might go double loss. I may have. It may just be fate, to be honest, because Sanctum have Meiji, who might be on a double loss, but they're in third on almost double their wins, and they have Onka. It's a massive turning point for Sanctum. If they can show they can get results against these teams, top 6 is on. But Onka, they've rebuilt the roster even stronger, Sinksy said, than it was before. So that plus 67 goal difference is going to show this week whether they can take the results they need to hold on to that first place spot. But a mid-table fight is going to be Tizok versus Erebos, 5th versus 6th. Both sides needing a win if they want to stick to the top 3, but both sides wanting to avoid Caligo, who, with a good week, can leapfrog both of them.
So same as in the Glacies conference, a lot of results that can really impact the standings and can have teams leapfrog over 2 other teams. But that's enough for Rival. We're slowly moving here to the top of RSC. But before we get there, we have to talk about Elite, of course. Pegasus, going first to you for the Glacies conference.
Well, a team that was top of the table at the beginning of week 5, Bladesmith, gets an unfortunate double loss. It's really not been an incredible week. It's been against Caspian and Velocity, which was a matchup they really were expected to win. And Caspian take that opportunity to try and fly up the table with a win and a draw in a gauntlet run against Bladesmith and Renai. Andrew also picking up 2 wins against Deception and Profits, and 2 sweeps this week coming from Rix against Scorch and Profits against Velocity.
Wait, did you say what did you call Councillor Sir's team?
What? Did I call them the wrong thing?
Well, how did you
I
call
not
them?
say Rooks? Rooks?
Okay. No. My headset probably malfunctioned.
What is...
But,
no. Put this man on fraud watch. Hello?
Hold on. Hold on.
But, okay, before we actually start
Not my
roasting
neck.
Pegasus, before we get, like, roster pick. Kingsman, what can you tell me about the Ignis Conference?
Well, Ignis Conference had more varied results all across the table. Vanguards being on both ends of a sweep, sweeping Thanatos and getting swept by Drakes, as Drakes find themselves going 7-1. They're the big dogs this week, a 4-0 onto Vanguards, who were towards the top of the table. It was a top table match, and Drakes have just absolutely wiped the floor with them. And they also get a 3-1 onto a new Serene Azuchi roster that has yet to find a win this season. But another side that is decided it is time to pick up draws. It's Cottle. They've got they were on a loss streak this season, and they find 2 draws onto 2 bottom table sides. I think really they could have and maybe should have been getting results on Zulu and Azuchi based on the table's forms. I don't watch into the games enough, so I don't know how rosters are stabilized at this point. But I think if they want to be making the top 6, they've got to be getting wins against those teams.
Yeah, that's definitely something they should be doing. But with all those results from week 5, the standings probably shifted a lot. Vegas is going first to you to talk about the Glaciers Conference.
The double loss week. Full punishment has landed on Bladesmith. We've got a new king of the elite Glaciers Conference in the form of Caspian. And just look at all the arrows on the screen right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is what Glaciers brings. Renai, Rooks, Anju, and Profits all making forward progress, and Scorch going on a massive drop. And we like to see, once again, the bottom 2 teams having a little bit of a switch. But just look at the difference in the game wins. Again, it almost counts down from top to bottom. That is how close this conference really is.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of close results, like some small gaps here and there, but mostly everything can still change. But now, going to the Ignis standings, giving it to you, Kingsman. Let's see how it changed over there.
Well, it didn't for the top 3. The Drakes, Darkness, and Vanguard stay put with a gap being 2 wins. Drake's 31, Darkness 29, both sides looking to push forward. But Vanguards, they are going to sit halt as they find a loss this week. But Temple slowly catching up. Double draws this week for themselves and Tigris on 24 and 23. Thanatos, with only 1 win all season, find themselves in that 6th place spot, just ahead of Kabu, who have 3 wins that have all come in the last 2 weeks. So a loss for Kabu this week, setting them back. But hopefully for them, they can push further on. It's Kossel, 2 draws, and this is why I mean it's crucial. Wins there would put them into that 6th place, but draws keep them so close on 14 wins. Zulu are on 11, and they find a draw and a loss as well with only 1 win. And Serena Zucchi, they haven't found a win all season, but they are sat on 10 game wins, 1 behind Zulu.
So here are a little bit bigger gaps than in the Glaciers Conference. So maybe for some teams a little bit more difficult to really climb towards that top 6 spot that they so desperately need. But now going to the fixtures for week 6, maybe there are some interesting matchups that can change the entire table. Pegasus, going first to you.
Yeah, and I have my eye on one team. It is Council of Sir Rooks, trying to get their spot into that top 3, and that can be done if they manage to beat current bottom place Deception and current 3rd place Renai. So this is their biggest opportunity to try and get themselves closer and closer to those playoff spots. And for all the other rosters, every single one has potential to be close with how the table has ended up resulting at the moment. Caspian, however, with a bit of an easy week against Profits and Anju.
So good opportunities for the teams to showcase their skill to move up or to keep their place in the standings. But now, Kingsman, what matchup did you pick for the Ignis Conference?
Well, 3rd versus 4th, Vanguards versus Temple. Vanguards are going to want to hold on to that 3rd place spot, but Temple are going to want to knock them off. They're going to want to take that playoff spot Remember, for those of you that are new, top 3 get that upper bracket in playoffs. They get that extra life. So it's so crucial between 3rd and 4th. And this is where Temple can make a reach for that. Unbeaten in the last 5. They need a win here to leapfrog Vanguards and potentially push towards Darkness and Drakes, who have relatively, if you look at in the standings, not tough weeks, as Drakes have Thanatos, who have found 1 win and are not exactly on the greatest run of momentum so far, and also have Zulu, who have not won. They've only won 1 game all season, and Darkness, again, oh my god, I've lost my words. Darkness have Azuchi, who haven't got a win all season, and they've got Itzcoatl, who are finding 2 draws and again only 1 win all season. So Vanguards and Temple need big weeks to try and keep with the top 2, who I reckon are going to be banging out 8-0 and 7-1 weeks.
All right, so bold prediction there. It's 8-0, 7-1 weeks. So let's see next week if your prediction there was right. But now, moving to not the highest tier, but just one below, we're going into Master. And Pegasus, going straight to you as always for the Glacies conference.
Well, if you look on your screens, Glacies has done it again. It's a sea of 2s, as we had 5 out of 10 results being draws, but 4 out of 5 of those decisive results were double wins coming from Infinity and Vulcan. So despite how rare they were to find, they've managed to secure 4 of them. And Transcend owned that 5th win, all against, I believe it was Slytherin. It was indeed. Infinity getting the only sweep against Illusion. So overall, these games were extremely close. And 2 out of those 5 decisives are against Illusion, who were previously a very top side. So hopefully we'll get to see what that does to them on the table. However, draws aren't disappointing for everyone. Low Team Sophos managed to pick up 2 of them against Slytherin and Messiahs.
So like I said, the half of the games ended in a 2-2 result, but like I said, 2 teams still getting the double wins. That is always nice to see. But now first, before we're gonna look how it affected the standings, Kingsman, what can you tell me about the Ignis results for week number 5?
Well, only 3 sweeps this week, and there's a massive week for Haven at the top of the table. They get a 4-0 sweep onto Abyss, and well, huge week as they get a draw as well, but they only match Hades by 1 game, leaving that top battle even closer. But deciding they want to try and interrupt is going to be Montezuma, sweeping Serene Naro, been on a brilliant run of form lately, and then also beating Nox 3-1, who haven't been on a good run of form lately, but getting a win on those teams is what you must do to keep up the top result. Also, aside, I didn't expect to be getting results this week, were Wyverns, a 4-0 sweep onto Dogon. It's a big result for them, but getting sweeps in Master isn't exactly the easiest of feats against what people might consider the lower table sides. And they also get a 2-2 draw onto top of the table Haven. So that really shows that it's going to get... And Conflicts told me it's a new roster. Right, I don't look into it that much, to be honest. But it's a new roster, apparently, for Wyverns. They've gone win and draw this week, so it's a really good feat for them to pick up their top 3 fight again.
Yeah, I think they changed their roster at the start of last week, so... And to continue after roster change with this result is definitely good. But now, going to the standings. Pegasus, what can you tell me about the Khaleesi standings?
Well, the only team to receive 2 losses this week drop on the table. Illusion going from 2nd all the way to 4th, overtaken by Transcend and Vulcan. And one fun fact I want to point out, like I said, there were only 5 decisive results. All 5 of those wins came from the current top 3, so they are really proving their space there right now. And it's all arrows except for that first place. IOB, Messiahs, and Heck making progress in a very decent week against Slytherin, Sophos, and Kings, who, in comparison, had to drop a couple places.
Well, you can't have everything, but the top is slowly solidifying all, and Infinity still standing at the top. That was kind of to be expected with the weeks that they've been having so far. But now, Kingsman, going to you for the Ignis Conference.
Hades and Haven, they're swapping places, but they're tied in first with 27 wins. Double win week for Montezuma, though, will find themselves in 26 wins. Gladiators, though, are series behind on 22, but Wyverns catching rapidly as Gladiators only finding 2 draws. But Leo, unable to find a win, find themselves in 6th, 1 behind. Nara, another win and loss week as they find themselves on 18. Abyss, double loss, will find themselves on 15. Nox, they pick up a draw, but will leave themselves only on 15, tied with Abyss. And Dogon, a series behind 9th in 11th. 10th, oh my god.
So close. You just thought, we just have to disrespect Dogon. We're putting them 1 even below that. But the top here in Ignis, same as in Glacier, is pretty solidified. The rest is still moving a little bit. Now, going to the fixtures for week number 6. Going to you, Pegasus, first for the Glaciers conference.
I said I liked scheduled matches where the 2 teams are 1 position away from each other. But, arguably even more interestingly, we've got Infinity versus Kings. First versus second place. Will we see an upset? Probably not, but you never know, of course, and this is Rocket League. We get Vulcan, 3rd place, facing 5th place Iovi, a chance to get some catch up, and this would actually secure Iovi a spot in that top 3 battle. Alongside them is Messiahs versus Slytherin, quite close at the bottom. Once again, this is a fight for play-ins instead, so lots of teams with different things to fight for, and Illusion, after quite a poor week, will want to try and drag back some points, but it's going to be hard when you have Transcend as one of those 2 teams to face.
Yeah, that's definitely a rough week there. Now, going to you, Kingsman, for the fixtures in the Ignis Conference.
Well, Wyvern's new roster looking to make an impact, and they can tonight with a game versus Hades, who are in 1st place. It is going to be a brilliant result. And I don't know if Pig picked up on this, but Transcend Messiahs is being played on the 4th of October. So, I want to know what result that was, please. I want to see that result on my desk by the end of tonight. Or not, or I'll be just disappointed. Anyway, Haven versus Gladiators, 2nd versus 4th. Gladiators need to make a push into the top 3, and it's their week to do it. Gladiators get a win onto Haven, and they'll be looking very nice towards those top spots. But a team that has to pick up results soon is Dogon, and it's a week they can do it. They have Nox in 9th for that bottom table fight. And they also have Nara, who found a win and a loss last week and are 5-5. But if they can find results this week, it will be massive.
Yeah, so here, a lot of opportunities for the bottom teams to slowly start moving up and join the rest of the pack. And that is it for Master. We had now 5 out of 6 tiers. Slowly moving here to the top of the top. Talking, of course, about Premier. Week 5 results are, okay, somewhat in. So, Pix is going to give it first to you for Glacies.
Well, I only have 1 result, and I've also got a DM open on my 2nd monitor explaining to me how to pronounce that left team's name. So, ladies and gentlemen, we had a sweep against Click by Off the User. There you go. I think I found it. And the rest,
Off the
rest
User,
of the team,
I agree.
I agree. And the rest of the teams, hopefully they get their games in, but can't complain with a sweep, which was pretty rare in this conference.
Yeah, Ophiusa with the beautiful sweep over Click. It's you're getting better with the pronunciation, Pig. We'll accept it. Okay, Kingsman, you have 1 more. You have, instead of 1, you have 2 results to talk about.
Well, I'll spoil it. I have 3. I have a Discord open on my monitor also. It might not be my conference, but I'll still talk about it anyway because I'm sure Pig wants another result.
Thank you.
He can somewhat talk about it. So, Visionary versus Ox has been played, and Visionary did get the win there, 3-1. But Synonox player hasn't signed up yet. They're getting all the back end stuff sorted. So that result ended 3-1 Visionary. But back to Ignis. Oblivion, Musty Fluck not played. Tenebris Hosky not played. Kronos Serene not played. But Sentient find a 3-1 onto Leviathans. Leviathans were looking good to push towards the top 3. Sentient said no thank you. A nice 3-1 there. And Shaman Panthera, battle of the mid-table. Shaman looking for their first win. Nope. They find a draw. 2-2. Points go even.
Yeah, so we have 4 results in total here in Premier instead of only 3. So with that, we're going to take a look at the standings. And Pegasus is going to give it to you first for Glacies.
Well, if a result hasn't yet been added yet, did you say it was 3-1 against Ox Gaming for Visionary? Was
3-1 for
correct?
Visionary, yeah.
Well, 3-1 for Visionary. That means they have actually kept their spot in first place with an equal amount of games played as Off the User. Ooh, there we go. Ox Gaming, however, getting their second game win, but unfortunately, it's another series loss. Plenty of movements, but then again, plenty of games to be played. Come on, captains, please get your games in.
Yeah, I think we can all agree there. But at least the top 2 is solidified because they have played all their games. So
Yes.
that's a very good thing. But now going to Ignis, and hopefully for you, Kingsman, you have a little bit more to talk about.
Well, Hosky and Oblivion, they've got games to play, but they're top 14 and 11. Clear of Sentient, who've played all their games on 10. Tenebris have a game to catch up on 9 and a positive goal difference to brag about. Shaman and Leviathans tied with them, but a series down on -1 and -17. Panthera have a game in hand on both of those, so a potential shift up. Kronos also, and Team Serene have 2 games in hand. So we can see a real shift to the table. I never like saying about Prem standings, because with the games played, the table's never really accurate.
No, that's definitely true. The table is accurate for the first 2 weeks because then they play everything. But now we have the results, we have the standings. Let's take a look at another pile of matchups that they have to play on top of some of the matchups they still have to play. First, going to you, Pegasus, for the Glacies Conference.
Well, Click did play in the last week, but they haven't got this one scheduled yet against Momentum, which is a shame because that would be quite an interesting game with them both one space ahead of each other on the table, albeit with a game in hand for Click. Solace have scheduled their game against Visionary, that's second place team versus third, so hopefully one to watch. Ox Gaming versus Berg. Berg doing quite well, top half of the table. Ox waiting for that first series win. They got their second game win, they just need to push it that little bit more, and it's Kingsman's Council of Sir against Illusory.
Alright, 3 out of 5 matchups scheduled. That's not bad. Now going to you, Kingsman, for your set of matchups.
Well, Team Hosky must have not decided yet. Team Serene Tenebris, knowing what Team Serene's record has been like so far, it's not going to get scheduled either. But we do have a game on the first. It's going to be Panthera versus Sentient, 3rd versus 7th. 1 win for Panthera, 3 for Sentient. Sentient going to look to close the gap between themselves and Hosky, and this is the week to do it. And Kronos, they have Shaman. It's a mid to bottom table fight. Kronos have that game in hand on Shaman, so a result here would just be even better for them. And Leviathan's Oblivion need a win here to keep close to Hosky, and Leviathans, they need a result just to stay in the top 6.
Yeah, so there you have it. The fixtures for week 6 in Premier. Hopefully we can get a couple of these series, or the older series itself, to be played on stream. But now, taking a look at the franchise standings, Pegasus, you can take the bottom 10, and then Kingsman, you can continue with the top 10.
Well, it's Shaman find themselves now in 20th place with even more games played than DSQ, so sadly they are cemented there. And sadly on my screen, quite a lot of red arrows. The only progress being made by Systema Solaris and Ox Gaming.
Yeah, so a lot of difference there also in the wins, because obviously you have 109 on the 11th for the 11th place and 75 for the 20th place. But now, Kingsman, what can you tell me about the top 10?
Green Phoenix in 10th, 112 wins. They moved down the table. Visionary in 9th, 117 games with Panthera tied. Both have a series in hand. This is why I'm 50-50 about Prem being included in franchise, because this is another table that's not even accurate. It might be 4 games, but if you look down towards 6th through 9th, 4 games will change anything. And it's going to be Visionary, Panthera, and Azteca, and Councils of Sir in that group. 117, 118, and 119. Then Alpha Surge doing very well in their first season, 121 wins, tied with Forge and Ophusia. There you go. You know what? Ophusia getting 124 wins here. Another new franchise that's performing outstandingly, and it's going to be Shadow Esports and Sanctuary fighting it out for that top spot, first and second on 133 wins.
Okay, so before we continue, right? Where do you see a second I in Ophiusa, Kingsman? Where do you see that second I that's after the S that you're gonna say Ophiusia?
Yeah, it is what it is.
Nah, it's just Ophiusa. I cannot stand for this any longer. Pegasus is at least trying. So like he gets
Saudi
like
Arabia. Woo!
good enough for me. Let's go! Because we had all the results, we had everything already talked about. Now let's take a look at all the clips that you guys send us, as we do have a small tape for all the clips of the week. So let's just run it. Let's see all the mechanical monster that we have here in RSC, and let's see who's gonna take the prize.
Not.
Well, there we have it. All the submissions for clip of the week. 4 master, 1 prospect clip. And Pegasus, you go first the entire time. So, Kingsman, what did you think?
Well, considering Mensu didn't even hit that clip, and it was hit last week, I'm pretty sure, I disqualify it from my voting, even though it's a pretty nice shot. It doesn't get to be involved in my voting for today. But, you know what? I'm going to give it to Halo. Pretty nice sidewall read, and it goes top corner, other side. Brilliant placement. So, yeah, my vote's going there.
Alright, Pegasus, what do you think?
In a sea of masters, I want to give some respect to the prospect player, Neuronics.
Of course.
You love a good aerial touch to flip reset. It's harder to control than it looks, and it's prospect and he's scoring clips like that. I give it full props. It gets my vote.
Yeah, to be honest, I want to say, of course, you're going to go prospect, but of course I'm going prospect as well. I have to support it here. Come on, 4 master players, 1 prospect. Dembo, Challenger is fine as well. Dembo is just doing his thing. Dembo, the runners, however you want to call him, and looking at the poll, it does look like he's gonna win it as well. Because, come on, you just have to give it to him right now. everyone in Master is just like, oh no, we have to win because we're mechanical masterminds. I would say that if we have a Premier clip, not if we have this mechanical clip from one of our bottom tier players. And now looking at it, I think it's fair to say that Neuronix is gonna win this one. So sorry Kingsman, it's not gonna be Halo, you're not gonna get it right this week. But Pegasus, we're on a winning train here. We know true passion, we know true skill. Neuronix won this one. So let's run the clip again. Let's see another time all the beautiful clips for this week and the winner in Neuronix. So, we had another look at the clips, and you know, while we were watching them again, Sauce, who's in the back here doing all the production work, said one beautiful thing. Bron, beautiful clip, but it bounced, so it didn't count. So, with that out of the way, we do have a fail of the week here, actually. We have now multiple weeks in a row, we have a fail. So, you know, let's roll the tape. I want to see what beautiful fail it is.
I mean, yeah, I must just like
Can someone please
cool be
throw
there
me a
for the
fifth
sake,
ball?
but
If you dare!
bruh, bruh.
Incoming!
This was weird to see, but how did you miss that? So I want to say let's run the poll, but come on, it's a fairly easy one. But you know, Pegasus, I'm gonna give it to you first. What do you think? Because your face says 100 things right now, but I want to hear your thoughts.
I just don't understand how any of that's unfolded. We first of all saw a player either miss or get 50'd. All three players one side going towards an empty defense. And not a single one has put it away. That is one of the strangest clips I've ever seen, and well, firmly deserving the title of Fail of the Week.
So, Kingsman, you have any additional thoughts, or do you want to roll the tape again?
I'm meant to be the one more shocked than you two, because you probably see that every week playing. I don't see that at all in Master. And yeah, but Mox, he's on the top rival team, but it shows the top teams without the top players shooting aren't able to put the ball into the back of the net. And well, Mox is going to be, I'm sure, very happy with his Fail of the Week role.
So let's roll the tape again. Let's take another look at this beautiful, beautiful Fail of the Week.
I mean, yeah, I must just like
Can someone please
cool be
throw
there
me a
for the
fifth
sake,
ball?
but
If you dare!
bruh, bruh.
Incoming!
Alright, there you have it. The clip of the week and the fail of the week. We have everything done now. So let's continue to the weekly awards. Let's either boost your ego or crank it down if you're not in the top 3. So, starting here. And Pegasus, gonna give it to you for the prospect.
And first of all, we've got MVP being taken away by Tom Bast of the user. And a finisher taken from the same org, the False Dragon, with all the top 3 players actually having an equal gold per game of 1.5. And for striker, the award goes to the Dirty Dwarf. Playmaker to X-Talicon with a very impressive 1.75. Oh, and look, it's off the user again. It's Tombass with 2.88 saves per game. That is actually insane.
And there you have it, the prospect. Everything, all the awards are now going to Challenger. Kingsman.
Well, FaZe Sway on the Click roster, 547 points per game, makes him your MVP. Bits, 2.13 goals per game. He's your striker for this week. Oh, no, he's your finisher. Your striker is Red and YT on Orcus. They might be at the bottom of the table, but he's certainly at the top of the shooting. And Bloody Guard is going to be your playmaker on that Eclipse roster, 1.75 assists per game. And CJ is going to be your savior on that Gelb V roster.
There you had the Challenger Players of the Week. Slowly moving to the top here as we're going to Rival.
We start off with Shadow Esports' Mithral on 584.75 points per game. AV on 2.38 goals per game for our finisher. And then in striker, we have Marbs. No 100% like we've had last week yet. In the playmaker spot, we've got, I hope that's pronounced Sin and not SYN, with 2 assists per game. And finally, 2.75 saves per game for Shiny, who is our saviour in the Rivals here.
And that is Rival. Now going to Elite. Kingsman.
Echo is going to be your MVP, 550 points per game. He's also your finisher, 1.63 goals per game. Young Racer on that Temple roster, 66% shooting. He's your striker. Coburn from that Visionary roster, 2.25 assists per game, makes his way to playmaker. And Mulvey deciding to show off 3.4 saves per game. That is a savior every single game he's played this week. That is insane.
And in the Master Tier, we start off with Snowy against the hardest opponents, getting, well, in the draft leagues, getting 550 points per game. Our finisher is Charm with 1.88 goals per game. Striker going to Rapidza. Playmaker to Milne. I believe it is Milne. And Saviour Milne, thank you. Actually, ERS champion as of yesterday. And Saviour going to Snowy with 2.88 saves per game.
And moving on to Premier, it's going to be Renshiro as your MVP, 532 points per game. He's also your finisher, 2.5 goals per game. He's also your striker. Can he go all 5? Oh! Boo!
So close.
Boring. It's going to be Renshiro taking 3 awards, Venny taking the Playmaker 1.5, and Panthera stopping the Ophusa wipeout with 2.75 saves per game for Aero.
Wow, a little bit of an applause for Kingsman for pronouncing the name right. Okay, Pegasus, what is our team of the week?
Well, starting off in prospects, we've got Ice Davey of Alpha Surge's Basilisks. We've got Nolarin for Forge Apprentices. Sin, who we saw earlier, receiving a reward, also receiving a team of the week. Then in the higher 3 tiers, starting off in Elite, we have got Cal, Mimical in Master, and I don't think it's a surprise seeing those awards. Renshiro takes it for Premier.
And there you have it, all the weekly awards and the team of the week. And I was kind of hoping maybe we get some player finally taking all 5 awards. Renshiro were really close there. In the end, Ophusa took 4 out of 5 awards in Prem, but couldn't take them all. But now we had the results, we had the standings, we had the fixtures, we had the clip, we had the fill, we had the weekly awards, we had it all. But there's one thing that all of you also love to take a little bit part of, and that is our fantasy league. And Kingsman, I'm going to give it to you. You can just pick what you want to continue on, and then Sir Pegasus can take over.
I'm going to stick with the norm and do everything fantasy. Andre's in your weekly top 3. He makes the sheet, so I'm not surprised. But he's found himself in this top sheet, along with Mox and Sigsy, who are 2 points separated. And Mox is your overall leader with 6,665 points, with Mithril following behind and Axos in 3rd place. Robin, though, will be your top manager and master. Andre will be your top manager and elite. Sinksy, 401 points, and really impressive in rival. Rube, he's performing himself very well in Challenger, and he's also performing very well in the fantasy. And the man, the myth, the legend, Rude Van Nipplejoy, everyone knows him, everyone loves him, but they don't know who he actually is. But he's on 315 points as your top prospect manager.
And the predictions, the weekly top 3 are Halo, Yannick, and Axwas, Goofy, and Silly. Well, there's nothing goofy and silly about that score. That is extremely impressive. And predictions overall leaderboard, topped by Arch, 2nd place being Halo, who's behind by 10 points. So very, very impressive week for Arch. And of course, Mithril there taking that bronze spot.
Alright, there you have it. Also, the Fantasy Weekly Awards. And now it is time to say goodbye here. Pegasus, Kingsman, Pegasus, whoever wants to go first. It's gotta be Kingsman, because Pegasus, I've let you go first the entire time. What are your final thoughts for this RSCast episode?
Right, no one saw me point the wrong way, alright? I was pointing that way.
No.
I would never do that.
Oh, the whole time, naturally. I could never point the wrong way. But, ladies and gentlemen, week 5 comes to an end officially halfway through the season. Over half, actually, now. And, well, this is where things start to solid out. Gaps between the top of the table seem to be 20 games now, and roster changes happening more than ever. Sure, if an FA, every door's opening. And, well, if you're just joining onto a new team, then good luck. And especially if you want to make that late run to the top 6. Remember, Dominion did it 2 seasons ago. Going from 10th to 1st at this stage is still possible.
Wow, that's insane. That I got a nice little history lesson there that I had never known of. So, wow, that's incredible. Hopefully, we can see some of that action. The Glacies Conference is so close, especially in those mid to high tiers. So hopefully we can see a lot of movement. And just like you said, with all these roster changes happening, where is the best place to scout for players? Here on the RSC EU stream. Hopefully streams will be back now and we can get some games in. Hopefully I can cast a few. Tavish, how are you feeling about the upcoming week?
Yeah, so I was kind of expected that you would go with the end of your final thought, like, I can cast again! But yeah, for me, my personal results, not really to talk about, but overall, I do love being here on RSCast, talking with you a lot about all the results, about all the players, about just everything, and having a laugh about basically everything as well. But we couldn't be here without all of the sponsors that are helping us. Team Hosky, Team Serene, Gamers Apparel, and Badass, making everything possible. That the 3 of us, well, 4 of us, because you cannot see Sauce, but he's definitely doing most of the work here, can be here every Monday night to give you all these standings and everything that's happening. But for now, we're signing off. Make sure to tune into the streams this week, as we are finally back with the RSC action. And you're probably gonna see Pegasus casting most of the matchups, so Kingsman and I can take a little bit of a breather this week. But that is it for tonight. Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you this week.
cannot see it here. I cannot see it here. So I need to get away. Don't miss me too much. I know I'm gonna miss you.